If you've done our quiz just, you'll have noticed that there's over 100 different species of lemurs. In fact, as of 2018, there's 111 species of lemurs. There's loads. Now the ones that you're commonly familiar with, that you've seen in zoos maybe, are these guys. So this is a black and white ruffed lemur. We also have a red ruffed lemur as well. So these are the biggest ones, the big fluffy ones that you might see at zoos. And the very common ones that I think you all might have seen are these ones. So this is a ringtail lemur. And these are all the ones commonly seen at zoos, but there's so many more species than just these three. You've got our species like the mouse lemurs, which are the smallest primates in the world. We have our blue-eyed black lemurs. We've got our woolly lemurs, our indris, our sifacas. There are so many lemurs out there, and they're all very, very important to the ecosystem. So they're what we call seed dispersers. So they make the forest regenerate. So when a seed falls from a piece of fruit, the lemur will often eat that, ingest the seed, poop it out, and the seed will then be able to grow elsewhere, allowing that forest to regenerate. And that's why lemurs play such a huge role in their environments. And it's how the forests are able to have that massive biodiversity that we spoke about earlier. Unfortunately though, despite how important they are, lemurs are in a lot of trouble. So of the 111 species that were identified in 2018, 105 of those were classified as either critically endangered, endangered, or at risk of being endangered in the very near future. That's a very scary number to think about. So over 95% of the entire lemur population, all the species, are at risk of being wiped out or going extinct in our lifetime. This is due to factors such as loss of their habitats. So the rainforests in Madagascar and the dry forests, they're all disappearing at a very alarming rate. So of all the forest cover in Madagascar that used to be there before humans arrived 2,000 years ago, there is now less than 10% forest on the whole country. And lemurs only live in forests, whether it be dry forests, humid forests or rainforests, they still can only live in those areas. And if those areas aren't there, then they have no habitats or areas to live. The reason these forests are disappearing at such an alarming rate is due to a few things. Deforestation due to logging and coal and mining. These are all very important processes that the country and other countries as well need to get their resources. So Madagascar is a very, very high exporter of charcoal. Deforestation for food is also a big issue in Madagascar. So a lot of the people that live there, they can't just go to the supermarket like we can and buy our food. They actually have to grow their own food, which you might think is very, very sustainable, and it is compared to other practices. It's the most sustainable thing that they can do. But it requires cutting down quite large quantities of the forest to grow like rice fields and stuff, which doesn't sound a lot, but if everyone cuts down their little piece of forest, then it ends up being bigger and bigger and bigger. And these rice paddies, the soil that they use is only fertile for a few years, and then they have to cut down more forest after that as well. So it's a big ongoing cycle around trying to find food that's suitable for them to eat. Many species of lemur, like the ringtails and the mouse lemurs, they live in the dry forests in the southwest of Madagascar. Now, as the name suggests, the dry forests are very, very dry. There's not much rainfall there, which means finding water can be a real struggle. Normally, lemurs can find small bits of water trapped in vegetation or get their moisture from eating the vegetation itself. However, as temperatures rise, the environment is going to get drier and drier, which means there'll be less water, and it'll be a real struggle for these lemurs to try and adapt in time. Animals can adapt quite well to changes in the environment, but not when it's caused in such a big quantity so quickly. They won't have that time to adapt. Another issue facing lemurs, that is one that's quite new to our attention, is the factor of the pet trade. So lemurs are being hunted and captured and sold on as pets. Some of this is happening in Madagascar to popular hotels to bring in the tourism, and others are being exported to different parts of the world to be sold as pets for other people as well. Now, when a lemur is kept as a pet, most of the people that buy them don't really know much about their ecology or their behaviour or their diets. So these lemurs are being fed the wrong food, they're being kept in the wrong housing, they're being taken away from their families. If they're social animals like ringtail lemurs are, they're very social. So they don't have the prime environment that they need, which also causes them to get very sick and ill and often leads to dying, unfortunately. So there's many issues facing our lemurs today. We spoke about hunting, we spoke about the pet trade, deforestation and climate change. But don't worry, there are amazing scientists working right now in Madagascar